is up? Welcome back to the Culture and Cannabis Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Full-Time Tony, here with my guy, JC Coates. JC, what's going on, brother?
What is up, man? I haven't seen you since last week, right? The last time we were here at the podcast.
No, we had a pop-up.
We had a pop-up in between.
Was it on Saturday or was it on Friday?
Maybe. I can't remember, but I just, I miss you, buddy. I feel like I haven't seen you for many days, man.
We've been grinding, bro. We've been grinding. We've been grinding. We talked on the phone though a couple times.
A little bit, but listen, I'm happy to see you. How's Full-Time Tony?
Full-Time Tony's doing great, dude. We're just out here rocking and rolling. Fucking pumped to be at the Culture and Cannabis studio for another beautiful podcast. With the one only JC Coates. It's hot as fuck outside.
Can we talk about it just for a second, right?
Fuck, dude. It's been hurting my soul a little bit, honestly.
It's not like we're just talking about the weather or whatever. We're talking about like Las Vegas fucking summer is here in a major way.
Like it melts the plastic on your car and shit.
It's miserable outside. Back sweat and everything.
Yeah, Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, listen, I'm only wear jeans and it's not good. It's not a good time for me. But listen, we do it for the gram.
Do it for the gram.
We're doing it for the gram. But listen, dude, we got a fucking super dope guest today. Who we got?
Yeah, so we got a little background here. The networking master, the Clubhouse Ninja. Shout out Strategic Scott.
Merry Clubhouse.
On the Clubhouse has hooked us up with a great guest today. And I'm going to introduce him here in just a second, but Scott does some incredible things with incredible people. He sends us referrals, and this was a hemp farmer in New Mexico. He sent us a box of hemp. It's grown by this young man. We're going to bring him on to say Family Reserve Farms. John Sedillo is in the building today. John, where you at? Rick, can we bring it? Oh, there he is. There he is.
What's up, John?
John, how are you, sir? Welcome to the podcast. Tell everybody who you are, what you got going on.
Sure. So my name is John Sedillo. I'm the founder of Family Hemp Brands based out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we are basically a craft scale, seed to sale, vertically integrated hemp company. So we keep it small, but we sort of have bigger things in play, I guess you could say, in terms of how we work our products.
Nice. So let's talk about the actual operation. So you're in what part of the country are you in? You're in New Mexico, correct?
Yeah, we're in the high desert in New Mexico. Often people think of New Mexico as kind of just the desert, but what they forget is, we're 7,200 feet above sea level. So we are indeed the high desert.
And so that creates like some special kind of nuances for growing hemp. Am I right there?
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
For cannabis in particular, I mean, I'm a hemp farmer because I'm not currently a cannabis farmer. But yeah, of course, cannabis is cannabis, whether it's, type 1, type 3, whatever. So we kind of have what we call the specific collection of conditions. We've got altitude, we've got mineralized soils, we have a delta in day and nighttime temperature during the flowering period of our growth that's just phenomenal. You were just talking about how hot it is. Like we could have a 95 degree temperature daytime in say early September, but it could be 45 degrees that night. So that one single factor alone is a phenomenally good stressor for the cannabis in terms of cannabinoid and terpene production.
No, that's not. I mean, it sounds
doesn't sound fun.
It doesn't sound fun. I mean, it's definitely fun for the plants. It sounds like.
Man, it's great. If you're out on the farm in a 95 degree day, you're welcoming that cool nighttime, evening time for sure.
So I'm checking out the flower. You know, check out this is and thanks for sending this over, by the way.
Sure.
Full-Time Tony's a big fan of the smokable hemp flower.
Big fan, and this looks really nice.
It smells great, right?
It looks. I mean, if you would have gave this to me, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's weed.
Right.
Would have never known this is hemp flower, because usually when you see hemp flower, it doesn't look good. Like, it's usually pretty braille, really dry. The structure of the bud is not very good. It usually smells like shit.
Maybe it smells like hay, right?
Hay, or honestly, dude, there's a lot of hemp that I smell that smell like shit. And then when you smoke it, it's terrible, right? But this looks like I want to put this in a joint like right now and smoke it.
Ooh, that does smell good. Yes, I love the earthy tones here. Let's talk about the strain here. So this is a Field Trip. Is the strain? Yeah. So let's talk about the origin of the Field Trip strain and why you guys chose to grow it.
Yeah. So I developed Field Trip along with 3 other cultivars, which collectively we call the Educated series. It's a little play on words. The stud in that lineup comes from Abacus. We did a massive pheno hunt on a line of Abacus seeds, and this one stud in particular, man, he stood out, and so I'm like, well, I can count on Abacus to bring it. So we crossed that Abacus with several females that we had already been working with. And out of that, we came up with Short Bus, AP Bus, Magic Bus, and Field Trip. So what you got in your hands there is Field Trip.
Nice. I always love the origin stories. Tony looks like he's gonna just eat the.
I like your packaging too. It's really cool. What's like the symbol behind like what's going on with your packaging?
You know, I basically wanted something that spoke to those of us who really kind of come from the cannabis culture in a way that didn't just scream hemp. Like, you know, nobody smokes hemp because they want it to be that dry, crusty, you know, other kind of characteristics that you were just naming off. Like, if you're going to bother smoking hemp, you want it to be fire. So I think that the product inside that package, you know, speaks on its own, but that package, that label, that aesthetic needs to really kind of say the same thing. So I was looking to communicate that.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I would have completely thought this would have been like a THC jar that you would buy at a dispensary. If JC would have shown it to me, not knowing that it was from a hemp farm, man. I mean, it looks really good, dude. Yeah. Congratulations. Where do you like? How does this work? Like, are you growing this indoors or is this all outdoor? How do you get it to look so good?
Yeah, man. Well, I think, you know, good plant care practice is a big part of it. Your particular environment's a big part of it. It's a collection of conditions as well. But I think ultimately we curate and really kind of produce good flower because my roots are deep in cannabis. You know, I've been breeding and cultivating for damn near 30 years in a really kind of quiet way. You know, there was a few opportunities that got missed in terms of getting into the medical field with cannabis. I did some consulting projects here and there, but otherwise my professional career, you know, kept me afloat financially, and my passion for cannabis kept me super busy in the background. Mm-hmm. So bringing all of that, you know, bringing that forth and putting it into hemp farming seemed to just be really kind of intuitive, I think, to me.
Nice. So, so do you still plan on taking this to the THC side of things?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know, so New Mexico just passed adult use rec, and we're moving forward aggressively in that direction. So,
and so, what does that look like in New Mexico? So, how hard was it to get a license? Can you still get a license? Is it a limited license situation? Can you just kind of talk about the landscape of what it's like in New Mexico right now?
Well, to preface, we sure beat around the bush for a long time. This should have been done 10 years ago, but here we are today. And I guess the takeaway from that is, in a lot of ways, they looked at other states that you know, took those steps first, and they modeled their program in some ways after that, but they did some other things that are a little bit different. Right now, I don't know that we have a clearly defined limit on licenses. Now, that might sound super attractive, right? But I'll remind people that New Mexico, population-wise, is a really, really, really small state. We barely have 2 million people, and they are spread out across a really big state. So the idea of oversaturation is very real. We just don't have the population to support a huge amount of licenses. But I think that those that really can bring it, both in terms of producing an adequate amount and quality, that's going to be huge. They'll do fine. And there's going to be a lot of licenses that get into the game, and then they just, I think, ultimately fall away.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that's just, that's going to happen everywhere. So you can still get a license in New Mexico. Is that right?
You could. Yeah.
You could. Wow. Do you know how much those cost?
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing that they did too. You want to talk about social kind of equity. They nailed it. They really, because New Mexico also, besides a low population, is we're a pretty poor state in terms of, say, medium income. Mm-hmm. So license fees are really low. You could do what we have a micro business sort of model. And that micro business model has about 200 plants, I think, is the count or the plant limit in that model. But somebody can get that license for, I think, $1,000 or $1,500 bucks. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't allow them to necessarily have a dispensary. If you want to sell your own product to the consumer directly, then you end up getting into a vertical license. That's the direction that we're pushed in, and that holds really great promise for a company like ours. Family hemp brands became family hemp brands because we weren't able to be growing cannabis legally, and so we're I think intentionally going to pivot, and we'll still produce hemp because we've earned a lot of customers who are really, really, experiencing true benefits from our products, and we can't just leave them hanging.
Sure.
But we surely can't ignore where we come from.
Of course, yeah. It's a great strategy, right? And I think a lot of people feel left out and stuff like that. And CBD is a great way to, get into the industry and make a segue into the THC part of it. And I think it's a great. I would suggest people do that because you just learn so much about the medical part and the medical benefits of CBD, right? And I think that makes more a good, well-rounded entrepreneur in the cannabis space, right? But so let's talk about some of the positive impacts that you guys are focused on since CBD and hemp is like medically focused, right? So like, what are you guys really trying to? Who you guys focus on helping out there?
I couldn't put a limit or a real frame around that. We're looking to help those that need help. And that was partly why we developed kind of I guess you'd say, a collection of brands, because, one brand may speak to a different audience than the other brand. They could have the exact same product in that package, and ideally that's a high quality product, but we're all different, right? So we may gravitate to one brand versus another. So I developed brands that I felt would speak to sort of specific demographics, and in hopes that, they could resonate with what we put out there in terms of our aesthetic. And then once they tried our product, it didn't really matter what our brand looked like. They were buying the product at that point. Mm-hmm. So, whether that's an athlete, a yoga practitioner, a chiropractor, your grandma, my grandma, and anybody and everybody in between. It's like, we all need a little bit of help where we can get it. And so if our products provide that, mission accomplished.
Nice. So you guys launched in 2018. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And
launched from a piece of paper, literally in December of 2018. And so we went right into facility build out, farm development, product development. We went from scratch.
Let's kind of talk about it
120 miles an hour.
Yeah. Let's talk about it for just a second, right? Let's say I'm watching the podcast and I want to be a farmer in cannabis, right? And so you literally, you saw some of the roadblocks, right, with the THC at this time, and so you took some pivots and went to the hemp stuff, right? And so you got the LLC, and then literally, what steps did you take next?
Yeah, so we got the LLC. We submitted for our hemp license. There's multiple license types, so we really submitted application for annual permit, which just is as it sounds. That's our harvest kind of license for our field grown and our full term grown crops. We also have a plant protection license, which allows us to breed, sell plants, sell seeds. And then we have a continuous license because we maintain plants indoor and throughout the year.
Nice. And then so you guys are growing indoor and outdoor, or just indoor?
Yeah. So most of our flower products are actually greenhouse, or covered or protected environments. It's just not really financially feasible, in my opinion, to grow hemp indoor where the market price is now, right? So say 2 or 3 years ago, or heck, actually even last year, we were getting $800 a pound, believe it or not, for our hand-trimmed flower. And a lot of people were astonished. But then when they would see the quality of our products, they're like, damn, okay. It adjusts your perspective pretty quick. Today, our same flower, I think that we're probably on the wholesale level somewhere around $300 a pound. And we have to kind of fight hard to get that. So for those reasons, those numbers, they just don't support indoor cultivation. We do indoor cultivation and we do flower plants for our breeding purposes for sure. But in terms of the consumer products, those are field grown and/or greenhouse.
Nice. And then so what does like a wholesale kind of like operation look for a hemp brand like you guys?
Yeah. It's a tricky landscape to navigate, right? Because it's an industry that, though we're maturing, we're still kind of in our infancy, if you really think about it. Things are changing. You really, are focused in one direction, and before you know it, there's enough reason to adjust your focus, if you will. So, in terms of actually bringing a product into the wholesale market, for us, that really came from the beginning by design. We intentionally didn't want to have any CBD stores or anything like that. I really want to just create a really good product and stay in my lane in that direction. So, partnering with retailers, of course, made sense. COVID made everybody's life a little bit more challenging, but from a sales perspective, that got pretty tricky for us. We had to get kind of creative. So I suppose, like I said, it can be a challenging landscape. I think ultimately, once you find your good customers, and there's a key word there, a good customer. Like, how do you really know that they're good? When they come back, when they do what they say they're going to do, and they act professional. A birthing industry will birth a whole lot of good players and not so good players. So that's actually one of the inherited challenges in all of this, is just finding really good channels for your product.
Man, sounds like a lot of work being a hemp farmer.
It is a ton.
I mean, right? And just a crazy business, right? It's like, we talk about it all the time. You got to love it to be here, right? And even if you love it, being here still kind of sucks sometimes, right? So let's talk about, where does your passion come from, and why do you love this industry so much to do what you're doing right now?
Oh man, that's a super badass question. Thanks for asking it, JC. So my passion is truly with the plant. I fell in love with this plant at a really young age. Literally was growing my first plants at 16 years old. So it's a long history for me. I think what really drives me is, besides actually working with the plant, developing new varieties, is the outcome. Like when something that you create or help sort of steward and foster forward, when that brings pleasure or wellness or enjoyment or somehow better or empowers somebody else's experience, damn, like, you couldn't really ask for more in terms of what's my sense of purpose. So that drives me every single day. Being a hemp farmer, as we were just saying, is it hard? Oh my God, it gets harder every day, I swear to God. But even on the hardest days, there is just something so amazing about it. You're out in the natural world, you're surrounded by those elements. I could be doing architectural work or something, right? And making a fine living doing that, but be miserable on the inside. So if I can make a decent living, improve other people's kind of quality of life, just even a tiny little bit, and do it all through cannabis, I'm winning.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I love that, and thank you for sharing that. It's a trip because, like, Tony and I, we talk to people all over the country through this podcast and business meetings, and we get to see all types in this industry, right? And I heard somebody say one time, I forget who said it, I wish I could give them credit right now, but they were saying, like, you know, there's a silent war going on in our cannabis retail stores, you know, educate yourself before you buy the products that you buy, right? Because the products that you buy might be, going to the, not the type of people that you want to go to, because in this industry, there's really two types of people. There's people like yourself that have a passion for this plant and love it so much. And then there's another group of people that are just trying to, extract, the cash out of it and take advantage of it. And it creates really this kind of silent battle, you know what I mean? And
Totally.
It's really cool to be able to talk to you, and your passion comes through. I mean, like it just, you can tell in the packaging and the way that the flower smells and all that. So I want to congratulate you on that, and I hope that you can continue on that path. Let's talk about where is Family Reserve headed, right? Like where are you guys going to be 5 years from now?
Yeah. So Family Reserve is actually just one of the brands under the company. Family Hemp Brands is the name of the parent company that I started. And so Family Reserve is basically our raw product, our flower, our pre-rolls. We do some rosins and a couple of other consumable form factors. So that's what you're looking at there. Phyto Pro Select is another brand, and Honey Bee Select is also a brand of ours. So where are we at in 5 years? I'm in Santa Fe, but I'm not a clairvoyant. I couldn't tell you. I think as a business owner, we want to be able to say with some degree of precision where we're going to be, what exactly that pathway looks like. I'm just not that naive. I'm definitely an optimist, but I think the reality is this landscape is fluid. And if you think you know exactly where you're going, you're probably fooling yourself. So I remain nimble. I remember that just like farming, you might have to improvise. With adult use recreational cannabis coming on board for New Mexico, you think about this. I'm glad to hear your approval of our hemp products, but that's hemp. And at the end of the day, if we're able to produce a hemp product like that at the scale that we do, imagine what we're going to do with type 1 cannabis. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think if I could really predict a direction, we're going to keep with the brands that we've established. We're going to keep those people in a state of wellness that we are helping today. But we're also going to help a lot of other people, certainly here in New Mexico to start with our cannabis, our THC dominant cannabis for sure.
That's a great answer.
Phenomenal.
There's some real value points in there,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we talk about being fluid all the time too, and we like to have a plan, a target, and I don't think I ever hit my targets, do I, Tony? And I think it's almost a joke now. Tony just teases me because I miss every fucking launch day and everything.
It's just like sometimes it's not even like realistic. It's like the issue. I'm like, all right. Like I appreciate the eagerness, but like give yourself a week or two. But.
But at the same time, I do stay nimble, right? Because I'm not naive either, and I understand that things happen and things like this. But I do, and maybe to a fault, right? Like try to will things into happening, right? Like I might, force the bottle cap open and break the bottle on sometimes.
It happens. Not everyone's perfect.
Know when to say when.
Yeah, we got to get some new podcast headphones.
Yeah, we got it.
It's official.
We'll invest in some nice ones. So once I go over the head, we'll bring them in here with the mic and everything.
My lady hooked me up with her Beats. She must really love me, and these things are dope, I gotta say.
Wow,
nice.
That is nice. Well, cool, man. Listen, I appreciate the time. Did you have any other questions?
No, dude,
Tony?
I was pumped.
I commend you, admire you for your purpose-driven hemp business. I think you have a great future, and I just want to support people like you, and I want our community to support people like you that really, are one of the good guys, right? And do this out of passion and purpose and the intent to keep, like you said, keep your community in a state of wellness. Wow, what a statement Absolutely. That was, man. So listen, where can people find you? Plug yourself.
So they could find the parent company Family Hemp Brands at www.familyhempbrands.com. They could find some of our individual brands, Phyto Pro Select CBD, also at www.com, and Family Reserve at familyreservehemp.com.
Phenomenal.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Likewise, guys. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Thank you. Straight up hemp farmer on the show today. All right, just putting in work out there in New Mexico. It's got to be hot out on the farm.
I bet. Well, he's in the high desert, bro. So it's probably hot during the day and super cold at night, which I think is what he was saying.
Yeah.
Man, this jar is cool, man.
It is dope. I like those colors.
Yeah, you got the foil print on here and everything.
Who did we have on the show last week? Do you remember? Oh, we had Tina. We had Tina, right?
Yeah.
Like
Chamber of Cannabis.
Chamber of Cannabis. Today we're talking to hemp farmers. You never know who's going to be on the show, bro.
That's true.
We're not just goofing around with influencers, right? We're getting
some real people.
Some real people, man.
With real information, real knowledge, real experience. Like, that was a real person in the cannabis industry who has a real company, right? It's like, I feel like sometimes so many people think that cannabis is like this mirage, right? This idea of like this like perfect paradise, and it's like completely not that at all. Yeah. And like, to get to this dope little jar with this cool label on it with amazing hemp flower in there takes a fuck ton of work. So like, this isn't just made overnight. This takes years to get something as good as this and to build something like this. So I think a lot of people forget that too when you walk into a dispensary. When you buy something off the shelf, that it's taken at least months to get that product onto that shelf.
Yeah, straight up, and the silent war does wage on in our industry.
I was trying to think who said that, because I remember someone saying that to us. A part of me thinks that it was Brandon, but I feel like Brandon maybe said that, but in a different sense. But someone said that to us directly. Yeah. And I can't remember if it was on the podcast or if it was in person, but it was definitely here in Nevada, because that's something that someone in Oklahoma wouldn't say yet.
Right. Because, like the tourists go into Planet 13, right, by the thousands, and that's an amazing thing, right? But
that's gonna fucking haunt me now. That's gonna honestly piss me off. Figure out who said that.
Yeah.
If you said that, fucking let us know. Shit.
Because it's important, right? Like, know what you're buying, right? And it just goes back to like, generations of Americans, right? Just like, accepting the food on the shelf and all this, and not really asking questions about, where the sourcing comes from and all that stuff. Same thing with cannabis, right? And it's even easier to find some of these smaller, real kind of like family, passionate people in cannabis. And so let's support those people, because this is a tough business. And at the end of the day, it's still not even federally illegal, and it makes business even that much harder, right? So let's support these people that are focused on wellness, right?
Straight up. What did he say? What was his statement?
He's focused on keeping his community in a state of wellness.
Beautiful. Love that. Is that his hash line?
Yeah, you should make that his tagline. Scott, make that put that on the website.
Yeah, put it on the website, bro.
I think he needs a website too, by the way. I don't know if Scott made him the website. Let us know if you need that website. Maybe we'll help you.
Yeah. I want to make sure this gets out to everybody. I can't wait to try some of it.
Right. What else is going on, bro?
What's today?
Today's Thursday, the 17th.
16th, 17th?
16th or 17th.
So not next week, but the week after next week, we have our first Friday event?
Yes, we do. Yeah, that is right.
Is that 14 days from tomorrow?
14 days from tomorrow.
Shit.
I mean...
Does that mean the Facebook event's going to be dropping tomorrow?
It is, because you know what happened today? Like all the performers confirmed.
Dope.
Right? All the live artists, everything's confirmed, right?
Dope. So we're rocking and rolling.
We're rocking and rolling.
This event's happening.
It's happening. I mean, it's like, listen.
What's going on?
We don't pop up the same. We just don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a little bit different, and
not all pop-ups are the same. I should make a T-shirt that says that.
And honestly, like, it's been something that I've been focused on into my inception into this industry, right? The pop-ups, right? In Nevada, like how can they be more impactful, right? And that's the experience, right? So come on, we're gonna have live glass blowers. We're gonna have 3 live artists. We're gonna have several live performers, live DJs, right? Several live brands. Let's see, Steezy, Pana. We're gonna be in the building. I'm forgetting another one. I know there's gonna be free tacos, free joints with purchase from the Culture and Cannabis team. I mean, come on. This is not your average pop-up.
It's money. It's super money. And if you came to the last one, you know how dope it was. So this one's going to be way sick. What time is it?
It's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m.
5 to 8 o'clock. And
it's literally downtown Las Vegas. You can walk to the actual First Friday event. It's just come by. Go to First Friday. Come by, see us, spend 30 minutes with us. Get your free pre-roll, get your free taco, pick up some amazing products.
And I think we're doing cheeseburgers, actually.
Oh, cheeseburgers. Ooh, yes.
We're doing cheeseburgers, and we're going to have some veggie burgers. Make sure to have some veggie burgers. So if you don't eat meat, no problem. We got you covered. But for my meat eaters, these hamburgers smack. They're just a traditional, it was July 2nd. It's almost 4th of July. Yes. We're in America,
yes.
eating,
cheeseburgers.
Eating cheeseburgers is pretty American, so that's what we're doing.
I love it.
Tacos are pretty American too, I guess, at this point.
At this point, yeah. But they're still...
Jack in the Box has fucking tacos, so... Pretty American.
I'm
just kidding.
If they are, we stole them. A
good question is, what did America steal? That's a better question. Best things in the world.
Definitely
America.
The tacos. Definitely
America. We stole America. We stole the land that America's on. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, shit, dude.
That's
do we have anything else that's happening?
The Hustler is getting mixed. It's supposed to went to testing yesterday, but it didn't. It's supposed to go to testing today. And just like our guests, man, it's like,
process.
The process, right? I gotta stay nimble. But it looks like they're going to get mixed and tested this week, if not this week, the next week.
And if they do,
and then if we do, we're gonna have big announcements. We're gonna let everybody know where exactly our retail partners are. We're gonna have a party. It's gonna be great. We're gonna send out a bunch of influencers. We're gonna drop some incredible content, videos. It's gonna be
sick.
It's gonna be dope.
It's gonna be dope. Anything else?
That's gonna be it.
Dope. Well, shit. That's the podcast.
Last thing. So I haven't talked to you about this, but this is something that I want to do. So like the music on our podcast, I want to switch it up. I want to invite some of the artists that participate in our events, if they want to volunteer their music, or we can feature their music on the podcast, and we can like spice up the music.
Like at the beginning and in the end? Mm-hmm. So it's not the same intro?
Yeah, and it could be our clips too.
I think that'd be sick.
So if you're an artist out there, send us, hit us up.
Like D Diamonds or fucking Red comes through and then drop a track real quickly. I thought you were gonna do like a live in studio band, but
we could work up to that.
Shit, we should try to work up into that. Is that even possible to do a live studio band? Live studio? Like Jimmy yeah. It's possible. Fuck, dude. We might be like the late night show of culture, of cannabis.
Late night. I think it's time to turn it up a little bit.
Turn up the notch. We might have to get an extra camera in here. We have some space in here in the studio. Yeah, we can make it work. That got you pretty lit.
I like it when Tony says lit. Let's get out of here.
Shit. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching the Culture and Cannabis podcast. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Peace.